You're overwhelmed. Work is piling up. Your calendar feels tight. Clients are coming in, and the thought starts forming, maybe it's time to hire. It sounds responsible. It sounds like growth. But sometimes it's neither. A lot of early hiring decisions are driven by emotional pressure, not structural need. I've felt that pull myself. There's a very specific moment where your workload increases just enough to feel uncomfortable, but not enough to actually justify permanent overhead. That middle zone is dangerous. Because hiring feels like the adult move. It feels like the next level. It feels like what real businesses do. But hiring too early can quietly damage your income system in ways that aren't obvious at first. The first time I seriously considered hiring, the business was growing, but it wasn't yet predictable across multiple cycles. Revenue was good, but it wasn't proven, and the temptation was strong. Not just because of workload, but because hiring felt like progress. It felt like legitimacy. That's when I had to ask a harder question. Do I need leverage? Or do I just want relief? Those are very different drivers. If your income system isn't stable yet, hiring doesn't create leverage, it creates pressure. Because the moment you add fixed payroll, your break-even moves. Now the business doesn't just need to work, it needs to work consistently. Every month, across slow periods, across client churn, across market noise, that changes the emotional weight of your income overnight. I've seen people hire after 2 strong months, only to spend the next quarter stressed not because the business was failing, but because the margin for error had shrunk. Hiring converts variable income into fixed obligation. Sometimes that's the right move. But timing matters more than most people realize. There are 3 common reasons people hire too early. The first is discomfort. You're busy. You're stretched. And hiring feels like the cleanest way to breathe again. But temporary overload is not the same as structural capacity limits. Sometimes the right move isn't hiring. It's tightening your offer, improving pricing, removing low-quality work, fixing inefficient delivery. The second driver is identity. This one is quieter. There's a moment where being solo starts to feel small. You look around and see teams, org charts, Slack channels full of people. And hiring starts to feel like graduation, like proof you've leveled up. But headcount is not a growth metric. It's a cost-structured decision. A team should emerge from stable demand, not from the desire to feel bigger. The third driver is misread momentum. You have a strong quarter. Leads are flowing. Clients are signing. It feels like the curve has permanently shifted upward. So you hire ahead of proof. This is one of the most expensive timing mistakes. Because income momentum can wobble. Seasonality happens. Client mix changes. Platforms shift. And now your burn is fixed while your revenue is still variable. That mismatch creates stress fast. I remember a period where hiring would have made my day-to-day easier in the short term. But the math didn't justify it yet. The business was still proving itself, still stabilizing, still smoothing out its acquisition rhythm. Waiting felt slower, but it preserved flexibility. Because once payroll enters the system, your tolerance for volatility drops immediately. Every quiet week feels louder. Every slow month feels heavier. The question isn't, can I afford to hire this month? It's, is my income stable enough to carry this through a slow season? That's the real test. Strong operators hire when demand is boringly consistent. Not when it's exciting. Not when it's spiking. Not when they're just tired. When it's predictable. There's also a sequencing issue most people miss. Before you hire, you want clear offer, clear pricing, clear delivery steps, clear client profile. Because hiring into chaos doesn't create leverage. It multiplies confusion. If your process still lives mostly in your head, the first hire often becomes expensive training plus expensive mistakes. I've seen this play out repeatedly. The business wasn't wrong to hire. It was early. And early hiring is costly because it locks you into a heavier structure before the system is ready to support it calmly. Now, to be clear, hiring is powerful when timed correctly. The right hire at the right moment can unlock growth. It can free up strategic time. It can increase capacity cleanly. But the foundation matters. If income is still volatile, if client flow is still inconsistent, if margins are still thin, if delivery is still evolving, then hiring often increases fragility instead of reducing workload. The best time to hire is when the work is predictably boring, not when it's emotionally overwhelming. That line has saved a lot of unnecessary stress. Because emotional overload is temporary, structural demand is persistent. You want to hire into persistence, not into pressure. So if you're feeling that urge right now, pause for a second. Ask yourself, is the business consistently full or just recently busy? Is revenue proven across multiple cycles or just strong this quarter? Is my margin wide enough to absorb slow periods? Or am I still operating tight? Those answers will tell you whether hiring is strategy or just well-disguised relief. Because done at the right time, hiring creates leverage. Done too early, it just creates a heavier version of the same business. And the goal isn't to look bigger. It's to become structurally stronger.